What if everything you've been told about finding yourself is wrong? What if your true self isn't something you discover by looking inward, but something you create by reaching upward? Nietzsche, the 19th century philosopher, believed that authenticity isn't about uncovering who you are. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. In this video, we'll explore Nietzsche's radical idea of self-creation and why it might be the wake-up call you need to live a more authentic, empowered life. Let's dive in. Friedrich Nietzsche, the 19th century philosopher, was a provocateur of ideas. He didn't just challenge the status quo, he shattered it. One of his most radical ideas was about the concept of finding yourself. While most of us think of self-discovery as digging deep to uncover who we really are, Nietzsche flipped this idea on its head. He believed that our true self isn't something hidden within us, waiting to be found. Instead, it's something that lies above us, something we must actively work toward, create, and become. Nietzsche saw life as a ladder. Each rung represents something you've loved, something that's drawn your soul upward. These experiences, these passions, are the steps that lead you to your true self. But here's the catch. Your true self isn't a fixed destination. It's a constant becoming, a lifelong project of creation. In this video, we'll explore Nietzsche's philosophy of self-creation. We'll break down what it means to find yourself when your true self isn't buried within you but lies above you, waiting to be built. By the end, you'll walk away with a new perspective on authenticity and how to live a more empowered, intentional life. Let's dive in. Let's start by addressing a common misconception: the idea that finding yourself means digging deep to uncover who you really are. We've all heard phrases like look within or discover your true self, but Nietzsche says this is a myth. Your true self isn't something buried deep inside you, waiting to be found. Instead, it's something you create, something you actively build through your choices, passions, and experiences. Nietzsche uses a powerful analogy to explain this. He compares life to climbing a ladder. Each step on that ladder represents something you've truly loved, something that's drawn your soul upward. Maybe it's a passion, a relationship, or a moment of clarity that changed your perspective. These steps aren't random. They're part of a deliberate climb toward your true self. But here's the twist. Your true self isn't at the bottom of the ladder, hidden within you. It's at the top, above you, waiting to be reached. Think about it. If your true self were already inside you, fully formed, then life would be about uncovering a static, unchanging version of who you are. But Nietzsche believed the opposite. Your true self is dynamic, evolving, and always just out of reach. It's not about finding, it's about becoming. Now let's take Nietzsche's idea a step further. He believed that life isn't just a ladder to climb, it's an artistic project. Imagine yourself as a blank canvas. From the moment you're born, your culture, your experiences, and the people around you start adding color and texture to that canvas. But here's the thing, you're not just a passive recipient of these influences. You're the artist. Your task is to take these raw materials, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and your struggles, and turn them into something beautiful. Nietzsche takes this even further. He says that even your flaws, the things you might see as ugly or undesirable, can become part of your masterpiece. Think about it. In art, imperfections often add depth and character. A crack in a sculpture, a smudge on a painting, these aren't always mistakes. They can become defining features that make the work unique. Nietzsche believed the same is true for us. Our weaknesses, our struggles, even our failures can be reinterpreted into strengths. They can add layers of meaning and beauty to who we are. In his book, The Gay Science, Nietzsche writes about giving style to your character. He says it's a rare art to survey all your strengths and weaknesses and fit them into an artistic plan. It's about taking the messy, chaotic parts of yourself and shaping them into something cohesive, something that reflects your unique vision. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about creating a life that feels true to you, even if it's unconventional or imperfect. So ask yourself, what kind of masterpiece are you creating? What colors, textures, and shapes are you adding to your canvas? And how can you turn even your flaws into something sublime? Now let's talk about one of Nietzsche's most controversial ideas, the aesthetic versus the ethical. Most philosophers focus on ethics, what's right or wrong, good or bad. They ask questions like, how should we live? Or what's the moral thing to do? But Nietzsche takes a completely different approach. For him, existence isn't justified by ethics, it's justified by aesthetics. In other words, life isn't about following a set of rules or moral codes. It's about creating something beautiful, something that reflects your unique vision and values. Nietzsche believed that traditional ethics often stifle individuality. They impose external standards, what society deems right or good, and force us to conform. But conformity, according to Nietzsche, is the enemy of authenticity. If you're living by someone else's rules, how can you truly be yourself? Instead, Nietzsche urges us to embrace an aesthetic approach to life. This means asking questions like, what kind of life feels meaningful to me? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of beauty can I create with my existence? This doesn't mean Nietzsche rejects morality entirely. Instead, he challenges us to create our own values, to define what's meaningful for us. It's about living authentically, not according to external rules, but according to your own inner vision. It's about seeing your life as a work of art, where every choice, every action adds a new brushstroke to the canvas. So, what does this mean for you? It means that living authentically isn't about following a checklist of shoulds and should-nots. It's about creating a life that reflects your unique tastes, your passions, and your values. It's about embracing the freedom to design your existence, even if it means going against the grain. Now let's talk about action. Nietzsche doesn't just want us to think about these ideas, he wants us to live them. One of his most famous quotes is this: "Nobody can build you the bridge over which you must cross the river of life. Nobody but you alone." Think about that for a moment. No one else can create your path. No one else can tell you who you are or who you should become. You are the architect of your own life, and the responsibility and the power lies entirely with you. This is both liberating and daunting. Liberating, because it means you have the freedom to design your life exactly as you see fit. Daunting, because it means there's no one to blame if you don't like where you end up. But Nietzsche wouldn't want us to shy away from this responsibility. He'd want us to embrace it, to see it as an opportunity to create something extraordinary. Your life is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. It's not a copy of someone else's journey, and it shouldn't be. Don't let others dictate its shape. Don't let society's expectations or other people's opinions steer you off course. Take ownership of your choices, your passions, and your values. Create something only you can create. Nietzsche's call to action is clear. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you who you are or what you should do. Start building your own bridge. Start creating your own path. Because in the end, the only life you have to live is your own. So here's the brutal truth. Finding yourself isn't about uncovering who you are. It's about creating who you want to be. Nietzsche's philosophy flips the script on the traditional idea of self-discovery. Your true self isn't something hidden deep within you, waiting to be found. It's something that lies above you, something you must actively work toward, build, and become. Life isn't a treasure hunt, it's an artistic project. And you're the artist. Every choice you make, every passion you pursue, every challenge you overcome adds a new brushstroke to the canvas of your life. Even your flaws and weaknesses can become part of your masterpiece, adding depth and character to who you are. Nietzsche reminds us that existence isn't justified by following external rules or moral codes. It's justified by the beauty and authenticity we create through our own unique vision. So, I'll leave you with this question. What will you create with the raw materials of your life? What kind of masterpiece are you working on? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.